Hi everybody, the lesson you're about to watch is me giving notes to two actresses after they had done a scene from Dead to Me, the hit TV show. They did their own rendition of it, of course, and it was just a cold read and it was really good, but you'll see the notes that I give them in here, how they can be applied to a lot of relationship scenes, particularly betrayal scenes. In the beginning of the lesson, you'll hear the tail end of me prepping an actress. Sometimes when actors are new, I think this actress, it was her first scene in my class, I'll prep them a little bit before they do the scene just to make sure that they've really done thorough emotional preparation. And so you'll hear me asking her questions and kind of trying to get her to remember the things that she needs to think about to fight for in the scene. So that's what that is. And then the next part that you'll see are my notes after. So enjoy it. I hope you get a lot out of it. Yeah, you got it. So you got to prove. So that's another actable thing, is get her to see that you really mean it. Get her to see that it wasn't fake, that you really, it was a real friendship for you. That's do you know what I mean by that? That's like an actable thing to go after in this scene, is to get her to see that you're sincere and that you really love her and that this isn't a fake friendship. Get her to see that. Okay. All right. Okay, good job. Come back in. How do you guys feel? Give yourself notes.
I feel a lot better than I did the first time.
Mm-hmm.
I could have listened more. I was doing what you talk about, where like I knew when I wasn't listening and I jumped back in. I could feel myself going out of it and jumping back in.
Good.
So, yeah, I need to listen more. I couldn't tell if she was in the room yet because I couldn't hear her, and then you kind of looked at me and I was like, oh shit. She's
No,
in the
it's
room.
great.
So I got in my head about that.
The
too.
best thing that can happen is to be surprised. I loved that moment because it was real, because you didn't know if someone was here or not.
Right.
And I didn't think that you were expecting it was her either way, so it doesn't matter.
Okay. Yeah.
Right?
Right.
That's the best thing. I mean, it was awesome that you didn't hear her.
Okay.
Because we got to see her in here and go, uh-oh, before you went, uh-oh, and then we got to enjoy watching you go, uh-oh.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So the mistakes are the best thing because they're
Yeah.
real, because they're life, and it's clumsy and it's never going to be fluid, right?
Mm-hmm.
How much did you prep on how much you loved her?
Oh, I didn't prep on that.
Yeah. Jen, I love your work in this, and from the last time you did it to this time, like I can see the work that you did, and it's going really, really well, but you have to start with how much you love her, because this is so much more painful to watch. To watch you be betrayed and to watch you say things like, I'm going to shoot you in the fucking face. Because for you to say that to some psycho that killed your husband is one thing, but for you to say that to someone that you fell in love with and then found out was a wolf in sheep's clothing is so much more painful, right? And harder to say and complicated, right? Don't we hate the people that we loved once so much more?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
You got to start with the love. You always got to start with the love. The love is the strongest choice, even if the scene is a fight, especially if the scene is a fight, right?
Right.
Because, Johnny, because we're hurt because we trusted, right? And our heart was open, and right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why betrayal is betrayal. Otherwise, it was just some psycho that, didn't surprise you with her actions. There's no stakes there. You lost someone you love. And you lost someone you love, which I believe here, but my question to you is, did you really believe this was really happening?
I could tell she was really hurt, but when she told me she was going to shoot me, I didn't believe that.
I could tell that you didn't believe her, and that's okay in the moment, but there was a lot of really good stuff, and you're really good at listening, and I really believed you loved her and all of that, so I don't want to do what I did last night and not tell you everything you did right, because there was a lot of good stuff. This is your first scene in my class, so I thought you prepared really, really well, but what I want you to work on next is really this is really happening, because if this really was happening, this is a dangerous conversation to have. I mean, how long did you go back and forth deciding whether or not you should even come, right? How difficult was it for you to come here? Is this going to upset her more, or maybe this will work? Maybe she'll be relieved to see me because she's been with Lorna all morning. Those are the kinds of conversations that you have. That's your preparation in the moment before. The drive over is you almost didn't get out of the car. Do you see what I'm saying? And it was so hard to come in here, and then you see her, and then you see how mad she is, right? And then it's even harder to be here and be just this hate coming at you. I mean, have you ever been in a relationship or a friendship with someone that you really love and really loved you, and then it turned? Like, it feels, I don't know how else to explain it, it feels dangerous, right? It just doesn't feel safe, especially when it's someone that used to be a safe place. I mean, it's that when that happens in a relationship, it shatters your worldview. It's like, how is it possible that we're here, you know? Especially if you thought telling her the truth would make you guys closer or make it better, right? Or put her out of pain. You've hurt her more now. My note really is that this conversation should be more dangerous for you to be here. That's what I was missing, that like really, truly, there was an open house outside with fancy people having hors d'oeuvres and looking at this beautiful house, and she's at work and you're like coming in to do this. You know what I mean? It's like there's so many obstacles and restrictions and consequences, and you have to get what you want within all of those, right? So that this is really happening is about you knowing that, yes, I need to get this, but also there's people outside, and you know what I mean? Maybe this was a mistake. Like, what's the thinking process of Judy while this is happening? Not just the obvious, I'm sad, and that was all good, and that's all correct, right? Now it's like we adding layers to it. Now we have to add layers to it. It's not just, I feel guilty, which I believe that you felt guilty, but to see you feel guilty in the reality of this is really happening right now would have had so many different colors to it, don't you think?
Yeah, I forgot that we were in an open house.
Yeah, you got to remember where you are and where it's so, the moment before, you guys, the moment, especially if you're making an entrance, what is the moment before? Where are you coming from? Like, you should be, all the prep on your relationship and hurting her and what you want should already is already done, right? And the moment before you enter is, like I said, how long did you sit in the car? And think about whether or not you were going to come in. And then how did you maneuver through the house, and how long have you been watching her waiting for a moment to pull her aside and catch her alone? Because you're trying not to sabotage this, right? You see her go into this room, you're like, now's my opportunity. So then there's even more urgency when you come in, right? Here's my chance. That's your moment before, is here's my chance. So you just come in, and then you have to deal with the consequences of, oh, right, but it scared the shit out of her, right? So, I mean, good stuff. This was good for your first scene. I want you to start practicing that preparation of all that stuff, and then leaving it alone and trusting it's on you. And then this is really happening. And now I just listen and respond, right? Those are kind of all the parts to it. So you're in good shape. You're doing good stuff. So the takeaways from that scene, and maybe you have ones that are different than what I think are good takeaways, but finding the actable thing in the scene, like what are you fighting for? I think the best lesson in this lesson is that mistakes are a good thing. When that actress, she was surprised that the other actress was already on stage because she didn't hear her make her entrance, and it was such a truthful moment, and I just think those moments are the best. So getting caught off guard can be the best thing that happens to you, because we want our work to be unanticipated, right? The other thing that I really love about this lesson is it's such a good reminder that you have to start with the love, especially if it's a fight scene, especially if it's a betrayal scene. You have to prepare and really daydream about how much you love that other person, because people that we don't love can't hurt us as deeply. So I think that's a really important part of this lesson. My other favorite thing about this lesson, and you'll hear me say it in a lot of lessons, probably every lesson you watch, you'll hear me say it at least twice, that this is really happening. And it seems like a really simple thing, but it's something that a lot of actors forget, and I forget. Sometimes when I remind myself before a scene or an audition, oh my God, right, this is really happening. If I really believe this is really happening, how would I behave? So really commit to those imaginary circumstances. The moment before a scene is so important, where you are coming from physically and emotionally. So when I gave that actress notes about the drive over and how long did she sit in her car deciding if she was going to take a chance and come in or not, those are the little details of your preparation that are going to make a really big difference in how you approach the scene. And it's also going to ground you in the unanticipation of the scene, that you don't know what's going to happen next, because in the thinking process of the character, you didn't know if you were even going to come in the room. So always, always, always prepare on the moment before. Finding and committing to the danger of a scene is really important, especially if it's a breakup scene or a big confrontational scene. A lot of times actors miss the danger of that. How hard is this for me to say? How hard is it for me to hear what you're saying to me? So always ask yourself those questions in every scene. Another thing I really like about this lesson is when I'm talking to one of the actresses about all of the obstacles that she has that are there. Not just the obstacles in the scene that your partner brings to you, but the obstacles of the environment that you're in. How much time do I have? The urgency. There's all kinds of obstacles in stories. That's, if it's well written, that's what it's filled with, is obstacles. So always find internal obstacles too. Where are you torn between two things? So looking for obstacles that aren't necessarily obvious on the page are really, really important and can really help give you a very nuanced performance.